This is the Refuge Project.
Welcome to the Refuge Project. The Refuge Project is a place that we can have meaningful conversation in a safe place. I am your host. We are your host. I am Pastor David. We got, what's your name? James. James is here.
I am. We are.
Yeah, we're all in it right here. This is the Refuge. This is the new Refuge Project. Me and you.
This is it.
This is it, man. I don't even know why you people still listen, but we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. Rick, you can Refuge Project on Twitter. Reach out to us, follow us, do all those cool things. I did write some new stats down. 32 countries now and 38 states in the United States.
I like it.
Yeah, and then we just hit just a few weeks ago, we hit 10,000 downloads.
Wow.
So somebody's out there listening. I don't know who it is,
That's
but
awesome.
somebody finds us entertaining somewhere. Rayanne hit me up. She said that somebody, nobody episode. She said that was the best bit yet.
She was telling me about that too.
I was just like, well, thank you.
I had forgotten about it.
That's my real life.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a classic. Happened like a month ago.
Yeah.
Already moved on, forgot about it. And she's like, oh my gosh, hey, I listened to that episode.
Yeah, so people catch up. They fall behind and they catch up. And so, yeah, speaking of catch up, I had some good fries today.
Oh, yeah? I see you got your Burger King cup over there.
Yeah.
You're a Burger King guy?
We're running a little bit late today, so no, I'm never a Burger King guy.
It just seems like you got the cup right
But
there.
it's the closest thing here.
That's true.
And so I just ran over there real quick and got me a hamburger, so and some fries. But I normally hate Burger King.
Did you hate it today?
I'm indifferent.
Okay.
Today wasn't terrible. I was hungry, so...
See, that's how these businesses survive. They're just cheap enough and just not horrible enough. Like most people aren't like, oh yeah, it was awesome. They're just like, yeah, it's fine. And
cheap is relevant, right?
Yeah, that's a big deal. It's a big
because
factor.
I went and got my kids, they like the chicken nuggets, right?
Oh my gosh. Well, the Burger King chicken nuggets, it's like 10 for $1 or something like that.
Really?
Or $1.50.
McDonald's is almost $11 for the 10-piece meal.
Yeah. But that kind of makes sense.
Really?
Why should the chicken be that
cheap?
If
Burger King can do 10 for $1.
No. That's the thing. Burger King should not be able to do 10 for $1. That doesn't make sense. And the fact that they're out there selling 10 nuggets at a time for like $1.49.
They shouldn't call them chicken nuggets. They should just call them nuggets.
That's a risk.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for a good deal, but that deal is so much, I feel suspicious, and I don't trust it.
Well, McDonald's has actually come out and said that their stuff is real chicken now.
Yeah.
Because they went through the backlash of that pink goo stuff.
Yeah. I've had their nuggets, the 20-piece meal or whatever, and they're solid chicken nuggets.
Yeah. But yeah, about $11 for a meal.
Is it 11 for the 20-piece meal?
It was like 10 something.
You're probably ordering it wrong. McDonald's one of those places you got to order it just right to get.
I just go with the number or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's the least efficient way to order at McDonald's. You got to order value menu stuff.
Okay, like 2 values of this and 1 value of that.
Yeah, I want the 20-piece box, not the meal.
Interesting. We're gonna have to get together, and you're just going to like show me.
Dude, I know, I know all the deals. I know how to save money.
That's a high school thing, right?
The
high schoolers know all the ways to get around
in the fast food world.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because they have a limited amount of money and they're hungry.
That was
all
me.
the time.
That was me. Late high school, college. That was
college age too.
I'm trying to spend like $5 a meal.
Yeah.
How do I do it?
And how is the college age in food service? Where do they come in and just like wait? Okay, let's just talk about this for a second.
Okay.
Because I got my own ideas, right? How do you feel about college? People that just want to hang out at tables.
Oh, like at the fast food places?
Yeah, no, not the fast food, like a restaurant, like something you would work at. They come in and it's a bunch of college kids and they probably just want to hang out and have fun and then take up an hour and a half at a table.
Yeah.
Or some, middle-aged white ladies, they come in and they've been shopping all day. And
Ladies' night?
And they just come in. And
they coming into Gringos, they're getting the summer specials.
Yeah.
And a glass of water.
Yeah.
Maybe a tea if they're getting crazy.
Uh-huh. and they just spend, and you could have turned that table over 3 times.
Oh, for sure.
What's your feeling about that?
Well, the thing is, they're not doing anything technically wrong.
Right.
You have every right to do that, do your thing. And I am in a different mind space than most of the servers there, because I'm not worried about nothing, man. If I lose some money on one table, I'll make it up at the next one. It's all good. Or if I have a bad shift, I'll have an amazing shift the next time. Like, I'm not worried about it.
Right.
But man, a lot of these ones, like these single moms that are out here working these tables and all that, they got, they're stressed out.
Yeah.
So every
table is something that they have to pay out.
It's a big deal. Every single thing. So if you come and do that to them, they're mad the whole time, super upset, and they're just thinking about how they don't have enough money to pay this bill, and they got to pick up their kid after work, and it's a problem for them.
Because my wife does it, and not they have these girls' day out, and your aunt and her and some other ones that they went to college with, and then they taught together for many years, and then now that they've kind of went off and had their own families and teaching at different schools now, but they'll get together 3 or 4 times a year, and my wife will call me, hey, we're going to go eat at such and such. And like 2 hours later, they're still there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you better be leaving this server like a fat tip.
Yeah, that's
3 times as much as you would normally leave.
If you're going to stay there for 3 times as long.
Yeah. And I know that they don't. I know that, like, if you would normally leave them, I try to tip good. I try not to go anywhere without a $10 tip minimum.
Yeah.
If it's just me and my son, like the other day, me and my son, we went and got something to eat. I let the guy $10. I think it was like, it was like $19 or whatever. So I was just trying to make it worth their time for me to be sitting at their table. But if you're going to sit there for 2 hours, you need to give them a $50 tip.
Yeah, if you're going to be there for that long, it's.
I don't know.
I'm with you, but I'm the guy. I try not to complain about nothing. You know, because when I'm making good money there. Like, I'm making good money, and
yeah.
So I try not to complain about it. You get what you get, But there's people that'll stay for hours, like half the shift. If I'm working a night shift and you might come in at if I'll be there like 4:30 to close or something like that, and you'll get a table that comes in like 5, waits for 45 minutes for the rest of their party to show up, and then they all hang out for another 2 hours after that. And so by the time they leave, it's like 7:30. So that was like your whole night of that table.
So what time do y'all close?
9 o'clock.
So what do you think about those 8:45ers?
Oh man, it depends on the night.
Oh man,
a lot of people are like, I'm just kind of whatever.
Because there's times when I'm like, man, let's go grab something to eat. I'm just like, man, if I was on the other side, I'd be like, oh, here they come, 8:45.
Within like 30 minutes or more of close, like I'll go do it. So like if they close at 9 and it's like 8:25, like I'll still go in and whatever. I just won't stay till 10 o'clock, But like
right, in and out.
If it's just me and Tara, we can go in and out. I'll be done by the time you close. If you serve me, you know.
Get it out.
But if it's like within 10, 15 minutes of them closing, I'm just like, I'll just go
Fast
somewhere
food or
else.
something.
Yeah. Fast food's a little different story. But it's still rough. Like if they close at 10 and you show up at 9:55 and you want to order 10
because they're trying to like clean up fryers and stuff like that, and you're just like making a mess again.
Yeah.
I guess, man. Just life. Everybody else has got those things at their job.
But the thing is, like it doesn't matter what time. Like if they close at 10 and you're trying to come in at 9:55 to order some burgers at the fast food place, like they would be just as mad as if you closed at 9. Like it doesn't really matter what time it is. It's like they could close at 7:30.
It's the same.
It's the same thing.
But it's going to be like the same mom that needs that tip that she's going to complain about.
Yeah,
you coming in late, but she needs the tip. Mm-hmm. So,
for sure. Oh yeah, those people.
Yeah,
those are the ones.
Yeah,
if you complain to me throughout the shift about like I'm not making any money, I need all this money, and then you also get mad about that kind of stuff. Like,
that's the ones I can't. Yeah.
I don't put up with it. I'll call you out hard.
Like, oh, you want the one? Oh, that's your table right there. You need the extra tip.
I demand the table from them.
Oh yeah,
I'll do stuff like that. Say, hey man, you can't handle it. Let me take it. And anyway. I'll make you either shut up and take it, or I'll just take it, and then I'll make extra money, and I won't have to listen to you complain. Like,
yeah,
I don't put up with it. Plus, I'm the guy there at this point who's been there for forever, so everybody just kind of listens to me. If you're like some 18-year-old kid, this is your first job, whatever, like you're not going to argue with me if I come up. If I call you out on something, they're like, "Oh, I'm doing something wrong."
Yeah.
You know,
You have to have like those people in your life, no matter where you are,
for sure.
to call you out on your bull crap. Because if you don't, then you end up like these little rich brat kids, and
Oh man,
yeah, that's no fun. That is no fun. All right, well, we got a song for you today. You want to introduce this song?
yeah, sure. This song's called "Treason." It's by Gable Price and Friends. He just put out another album like a week or so ago that I've been listening to, and we'll just play some of the song. We can talk about it in a second.
Golden youth, I've been there too, breaking down like all your friends do, and it hurts so good till it gets too bad. You're flirting with another panic attack. It's a poke at the heart for the casual sake of the art. It's a poke at the eyes so the tears can be wet by night. Is it really heroic to be broken on purpose? Is it some kind of honor to keep living in the dark? Is it really heroic to be broken on purpose, or is it treason to your heart? Or is it treason to your heart? Where does this go? How does this end? Are we too scared to be happy again? Try and chase your heart rate, but you're not there yet, so stop digging your grave. Stop digging your grave. Why are you digging your grave? Is it really heroic to be broken on purpose? Is there some kind of honor to keep living in the dark? Is it really heroic to be broken on purpose, or is it treason to your heart? Or is it treason to your heart?
Treason, Gable, Price and Friends.
Yeah.
That's an interesting song because it kind of started off nice and like simple as far as the music, and then it kind of built in. I liked it. It was a little bit more mainstream sounding than his previous project.
He's got a lot of pop production.
Yeah,
in this,
but it was really nice and clean and crisp.
He's got better lyrics than most pop music, though.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I really like these guys. There was another song that was that I really liked off their last project, and I'm pretty sure that we played it here before, but I forgot what it was called. Anyways,
Well, it might have been Heretic.
Heretic, yes,
Yeah, that's the one that me and Ben did at the convocation.
That was one of my favorite songs at the time when it came out. Was just I played that one over and over again.
it was a good one.
It was a really good song, and then y'all did a really cool version
we
of
did
that
our
song.
own little thing of
Yeah.
it. It seemed to go good. But that song, though, I liked that one because I heard that last week when it came out, and that whole idea that the song's lyrics are about was something I was thinking about at the time. So it was really, because it just seems like these days there's so many people that whatever their thing is that they deal with, whatever their sin or just like obstacle that they have, it's like they just carry it around for like their whole life. Like there's another pop group that they put out an album like a year ago or so, and I was listening to it, and it was like they've been making music for like 10 years or something, and their first albums they put out, a lot of the lyrics dealt with like mental health struggles and like suicidal stuff and all, and a lot of people liked it because they were like, oh, it's so honest, and And then this newer album is like 10 years later, and he's like still talking about the same stuff. And I was like, you're still dealing? You're still doing that? I was like, we can't like move on yet? It's been like a decade, man.
Yeah.
Because it's like when you first start talking about this stuff, everybody's like, oh, it's so brave, and yeah, it's so tough. You know, we're here for you. And then it's like, hey, it's been like 15 years.
Yeah.
You're still living in the same spot?
Well, when we had our record label, that was one of the big things that like, I think we put out 4 or 5 albums, right? And the thing was, like, everybody was talking about, like, man, when I was on the streets, you know, God, you know, he saved me from this and this and this. And the next album, when they started working on it, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, what's going on now?
Yeah.
You know, God delivered you from those things. That's the next guy up. That's the new rapper that got saved. That's his project, not yours again.
Yeah.
You know, there's got to be some growth. NF is one of those Christian rappers that super talented. I love all of his music, but he's still talking about all the same stuff that he's dealing with and he's been dealing with. Like, man, you're 10 years in. That's like God hasn't like released you from a lot of that stuff yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that was one of the big things so we used to have this monthly meeting with all the Christian rappers in Houston. They used to come over there when I was youth pastor to the Sword, and we used to just kind of talk about like what was working. We was really trying to share the industry because we were kind of like the biggest, you know, Christian rappers in town and all that stuff, and we were starting to tour outside of Houston a good bit and all that stuff. So we wanted to share all that stuff with them.
Yeah. Like
what songs we would open up our books and what songs were selling the most and what kind of merch was selling the most. That way everybody could like learn and get a heads up from what we were doing. And that was the one thing I was preaching a lot, and like, don't stay focused on like what worked. You know, everybody wants that, you know, you can hear it in hip hop right now. If one song sells 1 million, you can guarantee there's going to be 5 more that sound just like that. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I think that's in music in general. Like, people, they don't do it for, there's 2 things. Like, people do it for the money, you know, because they want to make money. And then you have those other guys. I don't care what nobody, the music's about me and I want to do it. And they don't never say, okay, I'm going to do an album that has this music I like, but then they don't ever get to the place where they do a radio version or a radio song that could get your name out there to really help you move in that direction too. Yeah. So they're either all about, I'm doing music for me, or I'm going to do only Drake stuff. You know, Drake does everything for the radio, you know, and he's sold out to the industry, you know, so I don't know. But this guy, he has a different sound, but I guess, and I think it's like anytime that you get he probably got an album deal from somebody. Yeah, you know, somebody probably gave him some money, so he has a responsibility. Yeah, you know, he has a responsibility to pay that back to somebody invest in the next album. Yeah, so he has to make certain kind of music to sound a certain kind of way so they can play it on whatever station. And,
yeah, I mean, if you get deals, that's how it goes. But
yeah, then they start telling you what you have to do.
Yeah, not fun.
Unfortunately, yeah, because then it takes the creativity away. The reason you got there, now it's being stripped from you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's so much the case with him, but yeah, his stuff. If you listen to the whole album, so it sounds like him. Yeah. You know,
it's just produced better.
Yeah, he's got good production. I like him. Shout out to Salvador for recommending that album back whenever.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that's the first time we heard it when Salvador was talking about him.
Yeah, he told us to listen to one of his other albums.
Yeah, very good, very good. Well, let's jump right into Culture Corner. I think we're doing this a little backwards. Are we usually Culture Corner? Yeah. And then, I got it backwards.
Shaking it up.
Yeah, keep you on your toes.
Wintertime.
So Culture Corner today, we was kind of scrambling around, to be honest, about what we're going to talk about. Like, there's not enough news to talk about.
Unless you want to talk about the Ukraine again.
Yeah, all that stuff. But
I
said, hey, have you seen Katy Perry's eye freak out? And he was just like, no, I haven't seen that. So we pulled up the video. And if you haven't seen Katy, Perry's eye freak out. She's standing there looking into the crowd, and her like her computer shuts down, and her eye just like shuts, almost like she's a robot. It was weird.
It was weird.
And then she pushes her temple, and then her eye opens back again, and then it shuts again. So she was struggling to keep her eye open. And so we started digging around a little bit. And what did you find out?
Well, I found some article that said it was like a party trick. She's saying like, oh yeah, it's just like something I do sometimes. It's just a party trick.
Yeah,
you know?
just the party trick in the middle of her concert.
But it doesn't. It's like it's not even a good trick. So that's just stupid. What do you? No, it's not interesting. It's not.
No,
it doesn't take some good skill. It's like, what are you talking about?
No, so there's obviously she's got some issues going on, right?
I mean, it would make more sense that she's got, you know, like who was it? Justin Bieber that had that thing where like half of his face shut down.
That palsy, something palsy. Yeah.
I'm not saying she's got that, but it would make more sense if she had some kind of issue that was like kind of creeping, flaring up or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know why the people try to. I mean, I guess you don't want the whole world knowing about your medical issues or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you're that,
especially
popular,
if you're trying to sell tickets to your show and all.
Yeah, and I guess really. But at the same time, these are the same people that's made your career, so you probably need to be a little bit more honest with them than, oh, I can just do that as I want. I have a button on the side of my face that makes my eye blink.
I mean, it's either she's got some issue, or it really is just some party trick, quote unquote, and then it's just like, why? That's so stupid.
Why do it then?
What are you doing?
Yeah, and
Who
then
thinks that's cool?
And then just a couple weeks after that happened, she's doing "I Kissed a Girl," the song,
the classic,
and then and this is the thing that kind of makes everything interesting. Like she grew up singing in the church. Her dad's a pastor, and then now she's kind of basically turned her whole life away from that industry or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm not here judging her about all those things, but she was singing this song, and she started like acting like she needed to throw up.
Yeah.
And then kind of like not singing, and then try to sing, and then staggering around the stage, and then she says, "Master, I'm not feeling well."
Yeah.
In the middle of her song.
Mm-hmm.
So who's Master?
I don't know.
Is that like a bodyguard's name? Or she's talking to like some demonic type deal?
I don't know, man. She's falling. It didn't look good.
She's literally falling apart.
She was like falling over.
And then right after that, she fell out, and they carried her off the stage. Yeah. And then like the music faded out. This like melody piano came in, and they threw some dancers out on the stage.
Yeah, all that made me feel like it was part of the show, but it didn't make sense to me because we weren't seeing before or after or anything.
Yeah, maybe it was like part of the show. They was just like had to send it out like early or something.
I don't know.
So yeah, but it was quite interesting.
It was weird.
And you have a lot of this stuff going on right now, and it's the whole. What do you believe about this stuff? Mm-hmm. I mean, you have all these different, what do they call them? Oh my gosh,
pop stars.
My brain is definitely shut off in the last 2 weeks. And I don't know why. I told Sandra, I was like, man, I don't know.
Probably from you being sick.
Maybe so.
Because I'm like that too. Because I was sick all last week.
When they have all these stories about the president or whatever, what do you call those things?
Tabloids.
No, that they're true or not true. Conspiracy theories.
Oh.
Golly.
Nailed it.
You have all these conspiracy theorists about all these different things, but there wouldn't be so many of them if like so many of them wasn't true.
Oh yeah.
But there is like a conspiracy about everything now.
Oh yeah.
And when Sandra was first getting on the whole conspiracy theory thing, I was just like, you're gonna have to leave me alone with all this stuff.
I think it's funny that she's into it.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, it's like she'll come back and she'll be like, "See, see, it's not crazy."
Yeah,
and I'm just like, because she was telling me before the presidential election, before all that stuff, before
she's telling you what's really going on,
the cheating and all that stuff. The year before that, she was just like, "Man, they're cheating, they're doing this and that." I'm just like, I said, come on. I said, you've proven me right a lot of times, but there's some of this stuff you're telling me that just, and then all this stuff comes out. I don't know if like she's just reading the good stuff.
Who's their inside guy?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Maybe
Sandra?
she's too inside. You know, maybe I don't know what's going on, but she's a learner though. She's not going to watch a YouTube like me. I'll watch a YouTube video and go, yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
She'll read 10 articles and then make an educated opinion, you know? And I think that's America. That's America. Like, it's like me.
Yeah. No, you're American.
I'm America.
She's not American.
No, she's not America. I'm America. We'll watch some, our favorite guy on YouTube make an opinion and be like, oh, yeah, that's what I believe.
Yep.
You know? And smart people are reading multiple, dictations of these mega paragraphs and all this stuff. And they were like, yeah, that don't make sense. But then they read enough and stuff ties in. And they get it wrong sometimes. But at points, man, she's right more than she's wrong.
I was watching that. You seen that new Netflix show, that Ancient Apocalypse show?
No, I haven't.
I watched it.
Is it good?
It's pretty good. But what I didn't like about it is that they present the whole thing. If you've ever watched any of those conspiracy shows, like just the way they produce it all and like the music in the background, and they produced it like that, like one of those kind of shows,
right?
As if they were talking about aliens and like they don't want you to know about this. And I didn't like that because it made it seem like everything that he was saying
was overproduced.
Yeah. Okay. So the whole premise of the thing is there's this dude who I forget the guy's name, but his whole thing is he believes that there was a civilization that had advanced technology, advanced quote unquote, that was lost in the Ice Age around like 10, 11,000 BC or something.
Right. And this is the whole new deal that a lot of people are throwing out there, how the pyramids and things were built, and we don't know, and it's impossible to build them the way that we've been taught all these years.
Yeah.
And
so he's saying there was a whole civilization that was like before the Ice Age that had all this technology, and then there was the Ice Age that happened, called the Youngers Dryers impact or something like that, where there was a bunch of asteroids that hit the Earth over the course of like 100 years or something like that, and it like totally changed the Earth's climate. And put us in a new ice age. And so anyway, his whole thing is like he says there's a whole civilization that existed before then that got wiped out during this time. And so a lot of these things like the pyramids that are found all over the world and like Stonehenge and like all that kind of stuff, he's saying they were from this ancient civilization that got lost. And they're like, anyway, so that's like what the whole show's about, is like that kind of stuff. And he makes a lot of good points, and he brings up, and he uses lots of like scientific facts and stuff to prove his thesis on things and all. And
that's
so it's like
the
thesis.
Yes, I was trying
there you go. But he and it all sounds good, but like the whole way it's presented is as if he's talking about like the aliens or something, or Bigfoot, and it's just like it makes the whole thing seem like cheesier and not.
This is the problem. It was like the Hallmark movies.
Oh yeah,
everything's the same. They pulled the wrong can out and put it on that show instead of the alien show.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It was good and interesting, but yeah, the whole time. Oh, but like the whole time, so he's like presenting his whole side of things, and so I'm like Sandra in the sense of like I want to hear the other side,
right? So
I can kind of pick apart like, well, why does this side say that? Is that legit? And why does this side say that? And so like the whole show, it's like 8 episodes, and he's just like trash talking archaeologist the whole time, just like general archaeologist. The archaeologists don't want you to know this. They don't want to say this because then, it's just like these general archaeologists. But he never has an archaeologist on the show. Like you never get to hear the other side of like why they think it was this old instead of that old.
Right.
And
I think that's what was so good about What Is a Woman is he did it and he went and he tried to talk to all these different, and he wasn't like really, he didn't never push back. He just asked the question.
Yeah.
And I think that the way he did that was very helpful to really understand like where these people are coming from and how they're making their decisions.
Yeah, I mean, the more you let people talk, the more it like exposes if they're legit or not about whatever they're talking about.
And I think that's why people like Joe Rogan and them are has exploded so big, is because he has a long form conversation and he's good at it, which makes it very helpful. But just letting people talk.
Yeah. You can tell if they're genuine or not.
Yeah.
Me and Tara started watching.
Bull crap is going to be over in the first 20 minutes.
You can tell.
Yeah.
Me and Tara started watching that I Am a Stalker show. I don't know if you've seen that one.
First 3 episodes.
Okay, so they just like it's actually pretty good, right?
Yeah. It's almost one of those things that I'm like, should I be telling anybody I'm watching this?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like you'll have it's funny because you'll hear both sides of the story. So they'll have like the victim side of the story, and they'll have the person who's like in jail or whatever, and they'll tell their side of the story. And so it's funny because like you'll hear the person in prison be all like I watched one, and the lady's like, yeah, I got in bed, and then he jumped on me, and he punched me in the face, and he was choking me, and the gave me a black eye, and then it like cuts to him, and he's like, yeah, man, I mean, I come home one day, and I don't hurt women. I told her when we started dating, if I ever lay a hand on you, you call the cops, so it wasn't me because I told her that. We started, and I come home one day, she's got a black eye. I don't know where she got the black eye from, and she probably gave it to herself. I wouldn't put it past her. And no, and he's like and he's in prison, like he's already been convicted. And you're just sitting there like, that's the story you're going with, like. It just none of every word he says, you're like, that for sure this is false. For sure. Like I don't even need to see the evidence. Just like listening to you talk, you're like, I mean, she probably gave it to herself. I don't know.
And what's crazy about that one is like some of those people are still in love with him.
Oh yeah.
The stalkers, like the first episode I think was the biker dude or whatever, and he's still in love with that girl.
It's crazy, dude.
And now he's out and he's visitation with his kid and stuff like that. And she still has to look at him all the time after everything that he did to her. It was just like, that's tough stuff, man. That is tough craziness. All because she couldn't afford to have her lawyer, defend her. She was some lawyer that they gave her, man.
Yeah, I came in like 4 episodes in. Tara had already seen a few, and then I watched the rest of them.
So I've seen the ones you've seen. You've seen the ones I haven't seen. Yeah. Wow. Anyways, it's a pretty interesting one.
I don't know why we were talking about that.
I have no clue. No, but it's right. Like when we got to have conversation. That's what it's about. It's about conversation. So speaking of conversation, we'll just get kind of right into what we're going to talk about. I don't know if we have a whole lot to say about this today. But hopefully we're still connected after my computer went to sleep.
Yeah, we'll see.
Andrew Tate is kind of like a person that is kind of like out there in the social media. He's kind of controversial in a way because the left hate him because they say that he is a male chauvinist,
woman
hater. But on some of the things that he says, I don't see it. He's more of a traditionalist. And of course, the women's rights people, they really, really don't like that at all.
Did you see the video where he's like being accused of like hitting this chick, and it's like showing him hitting this girl?
Oh, no, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it looks bad, man.
Does it?
So when he first started coming up, at some point, his critics were like, look, you hate women. Like, there's this video of you beating this girl. And then there's the video, and it's like he hits this girl in the face and all, and he like tells her to shut up. And it looks really bad. And then he comes out and he's like, no, look, we're like role playing. Y'all don't even know. And that's like the whole story is like, it's like some weird kinky thing that she's into. And then she comes out later. And,
I did it. She comes out later and like texts up
and
for
like
him.
says that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I do remember
and
that.
So I don't know. But if you do watch the video, it doesn't look good. It looks really bad. Yeah. But that's what they both say afterwards. But he like hits her hard in the face, and it's not looking good. So anyway, so that was like a big thing.
Okay,
so started the controversy.
There's women out there like that though.
It's true.
There's women that like to be choked. And
here's the thing
like
with
that.
all that. Anytime people are like, well, whatever you're into. No. I'm like, no, not whatever you're into. Like all those people that are into these crazy stuff, like they're all messed up.
Yeah, something's
like they
going
all
on.
have some kind of trauma and all.
Yes.
It's not just like, well, let's just keep feeding this bad
monster.
Yeah, it's like, why don't we like try to deal with the reason that they're having these issues. You're not supposed to need to be tied up, and
Yeah.
that's not the way it's supposed to
And
be.
it's all cool until it's not,
Yeah.
right? And then you're in trouble because
yeah.
it's not cool no more. And then you're in there choking her and
Punching her in the face
yeah,
and
yeah.
taking videos of it. It's like, what? What
Yeah.
are we doing?
Yeah, yesterday was fine, but today she don't like it. And now you're going to prison.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's tough. Anyway, so he's being canceled off about every single platform now. He's down to Rumble. So Rumble's the place that everybody's going that's being canceled. The social media, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, they are making Rumble relevant because they're taking all these people that they're canceling and Rumble pays twice as much as YouTube does. So, now their deal is just having to get the eyeballs over there because I think a lot of people are going to start uploading to both. And once people get Rumble as one of their, one of the things that they search every day, you'll start seeing a lot of the conservative people go over to Rumble, religiously. So that's where he's at now. But I guess about a year ago, he was he was really looking for his faith. And so he confessed to be a Christian. And he gave all these reasons why, all the basic reasons why. But not too long ago, he decided that he was going to convert to Muslim, to Islam. And let's just listen to him talk about this real quick, and then we'll talk about it.
All people who've been following me for a while understand that I've been very respectful of Islam for a long time.
Yeah, sure.
I was born in a Christian country. I was raised as a Christian, and I've always been very respectful of Islam. And it's become more and more obvious to me and more pertinent that Islam is the last religion on the planet. When I talk about Islam, because I'm new to it, I'm a little bit careful, right? Because I'm new to it. I'm certainly not a scholar. There's so much I need to learn. I know I'm on a learning journey. I'm not here to sit there and talk scripture. I don't know those things yet. I'm here to learn.
Yeah.
But
And we're here at your assistance.
thank you, bro. Thank you.
Honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's just, for me, it feels like the last religion on earth. I feel like there's no other religion. People say to me, why did you convert? And I said, I don't really feel it as a conversion. It's almost like I knew God was real and now I've become religious. And they say, well, you were religious before. I was like, religious before how? Christian? What does Christian mean? Like, who's not a Christian? You go to Christian nations and everyone says they're a Christian. Look how they live their lives. Go into the average church. Is anyone actually fearful of God? Anybody? No. The girls are out on Saturday night drinking and then they turn up to church because their parents made them. Like, there's no substance to the religion. And also, Islam very closely reflects my personal beliefs.
All right. Islam reflects his personal beliefs. I think this is one of the issues today. We're going to get back to the rest of that. But I think this is an issue today that we look for a religion that fits us instead of us fitting whatever thing that we believe in.
Yeah.
And that's why our culture today is so messed up that we know that we're flawed. It doesn't matter what religion you're in, it'll tell you that you're flawed.
Yeah.
If you're a Buddhist, whatever it is, that we are the thing that doesn't live up to whatever
The standards.
the standard of that the belief is. So what we try to do is we try to take our beliefs and our flaws and our, not living up to and find something that fits into. And for him to say all those things about the Christian faith, and some of it's true, some of it, you have people in the church today they're there just because they grew up in a Christian nation and the Christian family and all this stuff. So it's like one of those things that we do because we've always done. But at some point, man, we have to, I was talking to my son about it. We have to hold a line and stand for something.
Yeah.
We can't just go for whatever satisfies the flesh, So when he said that, I was just like, hold on. Like, you're not in this for Islam. You're in this for yourself.
Yeah.
And I mean, at what point do we push back and say, what is this really about? Are you doing this for the views? Because he's one of the hottest dudes out there. Everybody knows who he is, and he's just a kickboxer. That's all. He come from kickboxing. That's all he's done. He's done very well to get his name out the way it is. But what are we doing this? What are we living a life of faith, no matter what your faith is? What are we doing it for?
Yeah, it is really sad though to hear him say all that stuff about the Christians and the church, because that is a lot of people's perspective of Christianity, and that's like their accurate perception,
Right.
and because that's just all they see. Obviously, that's not everybody out there, but that's a lot of churches, a lot of Christians. I mean, if I remember. I mean, I just growing up, if I ever had a friend that said that they were Christian and went to church, it was like at least 80% of the time they were no different than the other kids. They just, had some parents that took them to church every now and then. And that was always really sad to me. So I'd be like with the other Christian kids, quote unquote, but I would be like the only Christian out of the kids. You know what I mean?
So it made you the only fish in the fishbowl even smaller.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to fit in this group, but you really don't when you're really trying to walk the walk out correctly.
Yeah, yeah. And that's that's what he's describing, is seeing that, and it's sad that that's accurate in a lot of places.
Yeah. Let's continue to listen, because even some of his ideas about Islam and the reason why he likes it are flawed when you look at his life.
My personal life, I've learned that if you don't have standards and you're not a strong person who's prepared to defend his ideas, you will be crushed.
Yes.
And we look at most religions in the world today which are not prepared to defend their ideas. What's happened to them? They're just getting crushed. And now we have Christianity as an idea which has basically said, well, we can't set any firm rules because everyone will just quit. So instead, let's make it so easy to be a Christian that nobody has to put any effort in.
Yeah.
And then accept everybody no matter what. And hopefully we can keep the church doors open. That's not God to me,
Okay. I feel this a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? I think a lot of times that that as a church, like a worldly church, I'm not talking about our church. We do make decisions on the tithing plate, and I think we have to be very, very careful about that. But when we look at religion from Christ to Islam to all these different things, is the difference between us and them is our whole faith is based in love.
Yeah.
So we're not going to go out there and hit you over the head and blow up your buildings and different things like that. We're going to love you, and we're going to make it easy for you to come into our buildings. If you're not Muslim, you can't even go in their church.
Yeah, true.
So his view of it is a little bit different, because I think that he didn't give Christianity the chance that he's saying that he gave it. Right? Because if he did, he would understand that it's more based around love and compassion and second chances and all those different things than strapping bombs to your chest and like, if you don't believe in me, then we're out to kill the whole Christian faith. So I think that, the things that he's saying right here are kind of flawed, because he's not looking at it from a faith base. He's looking at it from where it fits his social life.
To be fair to say his side of it, he was as far as like him giving Christianity a go, he was probably doing what he was told by whatever church officials he talked to and whatever other Christians he knew. Like, he was probably doing exactly, what, if he would say, is it okay if I do this there? And he was probably looking at their lives and saying, well, they do this, so it's okay. Like, he was probably following the examples that he had set before him.
And then, unfortunately, people like him, celebrities and different things, they get a little bit longer leash because they are bringing things, like you've seen these high-profile churches with Justin Bieber and the different things in there. Like, they're not being held to the same accountabilities as maybe somebody that's coming up from the bottom of the church and is working his way up. Yeah. Because they do bring more of a high profile thing to the church, or maybe their giving is more than others. So you don't want to, and we deal with that. We deal with that in their everyday church. If you have a doctor in your church, you don't want to make him mad because he gives more than everybody else. So you try to, stay biblically sound, but at the same time not upset your big givers.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, those are the ones that
Keeping the lights on.
Yeah, keep the lights on. So very interesting, very interesting. And I'm not sitting here, and I'm not. I don't want to like just take his words and just destroy them, but I think a lot of people watch him and follow him, and we have to be very careful when people that we listen to on a weekly basis. If you go to their podcast every week and listen to what they have to say, it's not always what they're saying. There's like a deeper meaning behind it, right? Yeah. So and then also like us. I mean, I'm sure that we've said stuff on here, and if we go back and listen to it, we're like, oh man, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, for sure.
The more you talk, the more you're going to say something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to beat him over the head.
God to me is something to be feared.
Yeah.
God to me is someone that people are afraid to mock.
Yeah.
God to me is someone that you have to go out of your way to prove something to. God to me has red lines.
Yeah.
Like God to me represents the Islamic faith. The Christian God to me, I don't see God. I can't explain. I don't see anything there. So to me, it was the only logical choice in the end. And this is why perhaps I found God the way I did, because I understood all these things first, and then I saw the Quran, and it confirmed so many things for me. Like even the conversations I've been having so far, so many things have been confirmed, and it's amazing the knowledge that's inside of it, which is so applicable today. For an old book, right? It's supposed to be old, but it seems so timeless. But it's truly amazing. But you're totally right, and the baseline morality, I don't think most people understand that when they're doing this under the guise of tolerance, when they're saying be so tolerant that you no longer believe in right from wrong, they're not doing that to make society a better place. They're doing that to empty your brain so that you have no resistance to the slave mind programming. They want to get you to a point where if they tell you the sky is green, you look at with your own eyes and you see blue, but no, the sky is green.
That's Islam.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe in us, we're going to kill you.
Yeah.
So he's saying that I'm converting to something that I don't like. He's converting to something that if you don't have the same idea as me, then you shouldn't say anything. Mm-hmm. So I don't. And then this guy right here, I wish I remembered his name, but the guy that he's talking to, he's a piece.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those people that if he doesn't like what you say, that he's going to attack your Facebook page and make up fake Patreon and try to get you disbanded from whatever platform and all those things.
Okay.
So here you got Andrew Tate, who's somebody that's been deplatformed from all the things, and saying we should have free speech, but then going to a faith that says if you don't believe like us and sound like us and look like us and all those things, then we're going to do everything we can to destroy you. I think we're talking about both sides of our mouth here.
Yeah.
Well,
he did say, he doesn't really know all about the faith. He said he just converted, So I'm sure he's not as aware of all the things that Islam believes as he's kind of making out. But I mean, he said it at the beginning of the video that like he's new. I don't really know.
But Islam is big enough, and he's a smart dude.
Yeah.
For you to know some of these tragic things that the Islamic community have done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Their hate speech, them wanting America to die, America being the Christian faith of America. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, if I don't know a whole lot about Islam, but I know these things, and then if he's got to, I mean, we all know the same thing about Islam in America. Maybe we're wrong about what we believe.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not out to kill us. But when you read the Quran, I mean, it's pretty much in there that says that Christian people need to die.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have a. It's hard when we talk outside of both sides of our mouth, and I know that he's being put in the spot right here where he's got probably his new mentor in the room, and he's talking about these things. But this is the reason why he said a while ago that Christian people don't know how to defend their faith,
Yeah.
right? And so somewhat it's true. Like we have not done a good job educating my generation. So before my generation, there was discipleship, and it was a strong discipleship program. And my father's generation, my aunts and uncles and mom and all those, they went through like a hard discipleship program. And even my dad, I'm amazed how much my dad knows about the Bible and didn't go to church most of his life. It's because it was ingrained into the culture when they were growing up. Like, America was truly a Christian nation then, right? So it was embedded in everything that, we're talking about, the way America was set up. It was set up on a Christian foundation and all those things. Well, it were really like, it focused in on America and Christ in America. There was something special about being part of being a deacon at the local church. That was a special thing in generations before mine. Now the generations from mine, the moms went to work, right? The feminine movement began. A lot of the mothers went to work. A lot of the fathers are not in the families, so there's a gap there. And what falls off? Like, I always tell people, like, they were like, "Oh man, I really want to do a Bible study, but I don't have time." And I always tell them, like, man, start the Bible study, because something else less important will fall off.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in my generation. Like, parents went to work, moms went to work, dad's at work, maybe dad's not around. So what falls off? It's not paying the bills, because you got to have money. You have to go to work. It's going to church on Sundays because you're exhausted because you work 6 days a week. It's not going to Bible study on Wednesday because it's not as important. So the things in our life that we deem less important begin to fall off. And I think that's where we find America now, is that a battle that we're facing that we can't see is the easiest thing that falls off first, right?
For sure, yeah.
So I don't even know how I got on all that, but I just think it's we have to be careful when we say certain things, that we stand up and we live behind it, and not. This is my thing. Like, the Bible talks about being the wind blowing us from here to there, right? Not having stable roots and foundations. And I think that once you get, the more worldly experienced you are, like traveling to different countries and different states and seeing more than what's just in your neighborhood, the more experiences that you have, all those different things, the more your mind's opened up to different ideas, is really when you find out how dedicated to the things that are important to you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can go to Europe and you can, like, well, it's no big deal for a woman to be at the beach with no top on, right? And then you bring that idea back to America. And then so you begin to water down something that's supposed to be holy and stand for something, and then you bring ideas in. That was like the biggest thing for Florida and Texas in this new election, right? Was everybody was worried about all the Californians moving to Texas and Florida. Now, how are we going to vote, right? Are you moving here and bringing your ideas? And we found out that they were ready for a change, So, and I think that's where Andrew Tate is. He's very... he's living in Dubai now, so that's a huge, Muslim territory.
Yeah.
So I think that the more that he explores the world and the more that he has people around him, especially in Dubai, like he's super rich, but not in Dubai.
Yeah.
There's other people that he aspires to be in Dubai. So does that have a Does that have a pull on what he believes when he's in the room with, Muslims that he could be doing business with? I didn't think about that till right now. I mean, that might have a huge impact. And I think that, speaking when we're here in America, are we chameleons? Do we change depending on who's in the room?
Yeah.
Depending on what we need. My dad always told me when I was a youngster that build relationships with people that you're going to need, in life. And I've always took, pride in that. People always come to me and be like, "Hey, I know you got to hook up for this."
Yeah, a guy.
I always know a guy. And I got 2,000 contacts in my phone because I meet people and then say build that relationship. And Von Juan was, he's the same way. He spends hours a week just calling people and checking on them and having those relationships with them. And you just never know. But what's important is not just to have the relationship, but be able to stand on who you are in those relationships, no matter who they are.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times America, we change. It was just like what is a woman? He asked this girl, so what about reality? He was talking to her about reality. He goes, so if I decide that you don't exist in my reality, do you exist? And she was like, no, I don't exist. Mm-hmm. Just like, what do you mean? Like, you exist. Like, you can't change what reality is. Like, if you're here, then you are really here.
Yeah.
Not because I feel a certain way, so now you can't exist anymore. Mm-hmm. So maybe that was some of the things that he's going through because Dubai is big business.
That's true.
Big business. So let's finish out and see what he says.
They want, so that you have to have nothing in your brain that can prevent that. If you have God, if you have I believe this is right and wrong, if you have personal responsibility, if you have self-accountability, if you're a person who sticks up for what he believes, all that's bad to them. They want all of that gone so they can tell you the sky is green. Some people recognize when I converted to Islam that there was a time I was an atheist. There was a time when I was atheistic. And the reason I am now so absolutely certain that God is real is because I've seen evil. I've seen shaitan. I've seen it. When you see enough evil, you realize that there must be an equal and opposite force. And there are people out there in the world today doing the work of the devil, genuine demons, who are trying to destroy the baseline morality that's inside of all of us. We're all born with some kind of morality, and they're trying to destroy it.
And that's exactly the Islamic understanding, that we believe that you're born with something called fitrah.
One guy I was talking to since my conversion says, it's interesting that somebody with everything, all the Western world, everything somebody could want has now converted. And I said, yeah, because even before my conversion, I understood that hedonism is a black hole and you can never fill it. Mm-hmm. You're never going to be able to have enough girls to be happy with girls. You're never going to be able to have enough money to be happy with money. You're never going to be able to, drink enough to be happy with drinking. Like, it's a black hole, and you can pour endless things down it, but you'll never fill it up. And you need to have some degree of self-restraint. And I've always been a very disciplined person. I've never made mistakes. But certainly, the higher power is going to give you more satisfaction in your heart than endless insanity.
So if you didn't know he was Muslim, in that few seconds there, you would think he was Christian.
Yep.
The endless hole we talk about, never being fulfilled by what the world has to offer, all those things. And then he also said something that was very interesting, that he was once atheist. Like, I feel like this dude is searching for something.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There's something there in his life that he hasn't fulfilled, and he's going to just continue to rotate through things in his life until he finds out what he feels is real, and I think that when you look at America, that's exactly what America's doing right now. We're just rotating through women. We're rotating through Noah, my son. He's just like one game after another. He'll play a game, he'll want to buy it. I don't buy his games because, like, it's these app games. They're like $6 or $2 or whatever, and then he'll play them for 30 minutes and he's ready to move on.
Yep.
Oh, let me buy this other game. And I'm, before the weekend's over, I've done my $37 in games, just because he can't stay focused. And I'm like, beat that game and I'll buy you another one.
Yeah.
But we just constantly, like, enamored by the moment.
Got short attention span.
Yeah, we can't see something like you wasn't a real big gamer, but have you ever beat a game before
Oh, I was when I was a kid.
when you was a kid? Like that was a thing.
Oh yeah.
Like you're gonna play that game every day after school until you like Donkey Kong come tumbling down the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, and now it's not that way. Now games you can't even beat them.
No,
They just add another.
they got to keep you playing.
Yeah, they got to keep you going, and then they add another platform or whatever it is to it, and then they release a new
new map.
a map or something of it. So there is nothing that ever satisfies you of finishing anything.
Never done.
They're never done, and I think that's and then the opposite side of that on competitive stuff, baseball, football, everybody wins. So there's never that satisfaction of being on top. There's never a finishing something and what it feels like to be number one. I think that's important in life, man. I think that there's something that's important of you being able to work your tail off and to finish something and be on the top. You know, it's the whole capitalism and everybody, you know, they want to get rid of that because everybody should be the same. You know, we should make the same amount of money and we should all be equal in everything that we do. And I'm down with us being equal as people. Black, white, whatever, we all should be the same as people. But I should work my tail off as much as I can to do one thing and be successful and then have to give half of that to somebody else because they didn't want to put the same effort in.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know.
I don't know how you got there off of that video, but
I don't either.
I like it though.
I'm just ranting.
I like it though.
So
My takeaway from that video is most of the criticisms he had about Christianity I thought were valid, and that makes me sad when he talks about, you know, most of the people in the church, they just say they're a Christian, they don't even go, and then when they do go, it's, you know, it's meaningless, and that all makes me sad.
yeah, most of the Christians, right?
Yeah,
But that just tells me that he didn't get plugged into a church.
that's true too. Yeah,
Right? Because most of my friends are from church and they are real Christians.
yeah,
You know, people that pay tithes, that are involved in ministry, that, you know, that are going to show up when they say they're going to show up, all those things. Like, but there's not a lot of them. What time do you get to church on Sunday morning?
7:45.
Okay, anytime in the sevens is early on a Sunday morning. You know what I mean? Like, there's not very many people that are going to do that. But that just shows me that he didn't get either the church that he tried wasn't willing to push him, and then we talked about that earlier about him being a celebrity and different things like that, or it was a bad church. You know, it was just there's rotten churches out there.
Yeah,
And I'm sure there's rotten Islamic churches out there,
for sure. Yeah,
you know? And anytime that we look, the whole reason that I quit church for 10, 12 years was because I got my eye off of God and put it on people.
yeah.
And people will fail you every single time.
I think a lot of people that are coming to church because they're going through whatever they're going through, they're looking at the people in the church as like their answer to whatever their problem is. And like you said, yeah, you're gonna get let down a lot.
Well, that's the thing. Like, so many people look at Pastor Anufo, the crooks, they look at Pastor Anufo as, you know, the guy, you know, and he does a great job. But at the end of the day, that he's going to have a bad day.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to have some family issues, and he's going to, Pastor Mark, like, as much as he tries not to fail anybody, he's going to have a bad day. He just went through his father dying, right? He might not have been as friendly at the door.
Yeah.
And he's not going to say hi the way you think he should say hi. He's probably going to be rushing to the restroom, and he don't stop and shake your hand. You know what I mean? And then because you have him on a platform higher than Jesus, then you're going to go, oh, that Jesus, that's who you are, because that's the statement that I made. I told God, I said, if that's the God that you are, I don't got time for that. But that wasn't God. The guy I was talking about was a man that made a bad decision. And that bad decision from that man put my life on a spiral because, not his fault, because he was going to make mistakes. My fault. And I'm not giving people a way out to go and fail other people. But at the same time, you know, we have to keep our eye, like they say, our eye on the prize.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. That's my rant for the time, and I don't want this to be an Andrew Tate thing. I want this to be like a worldly view thing, because what a lot of us think about the same things, like you said. There are a lot of valuable points that they have about the way Christians think and move and react to certain things. Well, the whole reason of where America is right now with abortion and God not in schools and all that is because Christians didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Sure.
My generation didn't stand up. My parents' generation didn't stand up and say, no, this is what we're going to do. They were all about making everybody feel okay and trying to make everybody inclusive and all of those things. And when we tried to include everybody, we're not living up to what the Bible says, because the Bible says that my word will offend. And if God's word is not offending somebody around you, then you're not giving it right. And I'm not saying go over there and hit people on the head, but truth is truth.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, Sandra will tell me something sometimes, and I'm just like, I want to fight back, and then I'm just like, oh, she's right.
She's got a point.
She's got a point, you know? And then I have to sit back and go, you know, you're right. But it didn't feel good to say that because I wanted to be right, you know? And that's the same way with God's word. You know, sometimes it don't feel good for him to be, okay, God, this is what I'm going to do. Even when it doesn't feel right, even when it's hard to write that tile check, or even when it's, because I used to be the same way. Hey, you want to go to such and such, you know, the local beer place, you know, bar after work when I was at this other job. And I'm just like, nah, you know, that's not something I do. I'm a Christian. And then you know, of course, you know, typical preacher, I'm just trying to insert, this is where this is where I do my thing, you know. And they were like, well, such and such a Christian, he goes. And you're like, you know, so then we're having to defend our faith from his life points of view instead of the Bible, you know, and it makes it tough.
Yeah.
It makes it tough. Anyways, that's all I got today.
I think we're good.
Think we're good?
I think so.
Y'all go back and listen to it. Definitely don't be like hating on this dude or anything like that, because he seems like he's out on a search for truth in his own life. If he's already jumping around from God's not real to Christianity to Islam, who knows what it'll be next week. But just maybe you can get something out of it. Maybe you can get something out of it where it impacts your life, or it really makes you think like, man, we just need to quit, you know, Christian hopping and just really get into a church where we can, you know, make a difference and make a difference in our world today. So, all right. Well, we love you.
This is the Refuge Project.